All right, journalism students, welcome back. We're almost done our What is News unit. Today is kind of a way to review. The next lesson, you'll have a checkup, which will be graded for accuracy. You'll have a couple of opportunities to take it, and you'll be able to use your notes. So we're going to finish up our What is News unit by taking a look at the elements of news judgment and the functions of a journalist. Pun of the day, the hat says to the tie, you hang around, I'll go on ahead. So, of course, again, our purpose is to identify examples of the functions of journalism and elements of news judgment so we can have a clear understanding of what is news and why journalists exist. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to identify examples of the functions of a journalist and the elements of news judgment. As a reminder, we've talked about what is news according to a variety of different types of media. The newspapers base news on frequency. Right? How often is their newspaper published? The setting, where are they published? Who's their audience and what type of, not just, where is the audience, but how old is the audience, and advertising, and they kind of work hand in hand. And newspapers are mainly hard news. Magazines are mainly soft news that you don't necessarily need to know. And so it's based on frequency, how often is the magazine published? And it's also based on entertaining a specific audience and serving specific advertisers. Magazines vary from being about sports to being about skateboarding to being about cooking or lots of very specific ideas like yachting and so forth. So magazines have a very specific audience, therefore their stories are very specific. Television, of course, is based on importance. And when we talk about importance, we're talking about the greatest amount of viewers. And then we get into interest, controversy, timeliness, proximity, caught on tape. And then radio is more hard news because you can only hear it. And so it's also very timely. And it depends on the audience. And depending upon the audience, it could also be more entertaining. There might be a little bit of soft news. If you're listening to news on, say, the morning show on a pop rock station, they tend to find interesting and unusual stories to share. And then, of course, the internet is based on everything. And of course, what we've been talking about recently are elements of news judgment. Why is it news? Not just based upon those different types of media, but just in general. So is it local? That's what we talk about when we say proximity. How close to the audience is it? Is it of consequence? Is it of great importance? The greater the consequence, the greater the news value. Prominence. Is there a prominent individual, a celebrity, or somebody known in the community? Are they a prominent actor in the story? And then human interest. Is it going to evoke a lot of emotion and amazement? Conflict and controversy. If that's present, it's going to make news. That's why sports are so big, or war, or elections, because there's lots of conflict, and that evokes a lot of public debate. And then timeliness. Just, is it current? Is it breaking news? And then we talked about the functions of a journalist, right? Century, meaning we're just taking a look at what is to come, giving people a sneak peek into the future. Record keeping, that's just simply basic facts. Who won the game last night? Who won the election? Entertainment, writing to entertain, giving the audience a chance to escape, writing about celebrities, things that are all soft news. Social function, communicating with the audience and giving them something to talk about. And that can be a lot of different stories. Marketplace, giving a forum for ideas, providing opinions, and giving some guidance to the audience. Agenda setting is not telling the audience what to think, but what to think about, right? What is most important? And that's where we see that function based upon the top stories. Political function is the watchdog function where the journalists hold people accountable, and then economic, providing an opportunity for advertising and also reviewing different products. So your job today, you have two different things. You're going to do a journal, all right? And if you take a look at this journal, you're going to take a look at 3 headlines, and you're going to complete these blanks by identifying the element of news judgment, the function of a journalist, and explaining why. So what I did is I went to usatoday.com. I found this headline, says Airbnb to issue cleaning required 24 hours between rentals. I'll take a quick look at it. You don't have reading to be able to understand why it made the news and what functions of a journalist it is. So I highlighted consequence and timeliness because it is important for people to understand how different industries, in particular the hotel industry, is having to change because of the coronavirus. And it's also timely. It's talking about what is going to happen very soon. The function of a journalist, because of that idea of taking a look ahead, that's the century function. It is also the economic function because we're talking about the hotel industry, and we're also giving something to talk about to people. A lot of people are talking about the coronavirus and how that has changed their world. Okay, so finish up that journal, and then what you're going to do is you're going to complete this Google form. And I'm going to go over it here, so you might pause the video to come back and learn the correct answers. There could be more than one answer for each. So the first section is all about the functions of a journalist. So we take a look at this headline: North Korea orders military takeover of inner Korean factories. This is simply record keeping. It's telling the audience what has gone on. You could also, it doesn't really hold anybody accountable. A lot of people like to go into that watchdog function. It's mainly record keeping. U.S. Olympic Committee to hire infectious disease specialists for Zika virus. This connects with a lot of things. It's talking about what is going to happen. So it says to hire. So that's the century function. It's, again, keeping record of what's going on. And a lot of people were talking about the Zika virus. A one-pan, no-fuss, healthy dinner. Well, this is entertainment function. This is soft news. It's giving people a chance to escape. Certainly it might be something that people talk about, and it's giving an opinion. So it's a marketplace function, and it also connects with the economy, dealing with, what kind of dinner to buy, possibly. 5 best and worst jobs at Walmart. Well, again, that's entertainment, gives something to talk about. It's giving an opinion, so it's marketplace. And of course, it's about Walmart, which is a business. Sixers fade down the stretch and again lose to Kings. So this is record keeping. It's telling you what happened in the basketball game last night. And because it's talking about basketball, it's soft news. It's a bit of the entertainment function. Amazon is Walmart's enemy, not higher wages. This is an opinion piece. So it is a marketplace function, giving an opinion, giving a forum for ideas. And of course, it's about a business. So it also hits economic function. 2016 GMC Terrain Denali offers comfort and reliability. Again, it's an opinion. It's a review about a vehicle, and so that also connects with the economic function. Who will win at the Grammy Awards according to Instagram? Again, we're talking about entertainers, so it's the entertainment function, gives something to talk about, so it's a social function. And of course, it is also the marketplace because it is giving an opinion. Now we're going to switch gears to why was this the news? Elements of news judgments. So stock rout intensifies and flight to safety. Dow plunges. This is of consequence. The stock market is always very important to pretty much everyone on the planet. Whether you have money in there or not, if you don't, it could affect who your employer is and whether or not you have a job. And of course, this is also timeliness because it's happening just happened. 8-year-old writes adorable letter to cheer up Cam Newton. Well, right there, you have a prominent individual, Cam Newton, quarterback in the NFL, and it's a human interest story, especially. Isn't that sweet that he wrote a letter to cheer up Cam Newton because he made a bad play at Super Bowl. Cleveland Bills, Tamir Rice's family for ambulance ride after cop shot him. Well, this is all about conflict and controversy. This was during the time period where there were a lot of policemen shooting individuals that they suspected. They were shooting suspects, and a lot of them were unarmed and so forth. And so this connects with that idea of conflict and controversy. Springsteen autobiography due in September. This simply prominence because of the being Bruce Springsteen being a celebrity. Parents hospital perform surgery on the wrong baby. Well, that is conflict and controversy, right? Very unusual, sparks debate like, wow, what happened? Can you believe that? Rubio eyes broker convention after New Hampshire setback. So this is a prominent individual, Senator Rubio from Florida. This was of great consequence because we're talking about the politics of a political year where they were trying to identify who should go on to the presidential election. And so, of course, elections stir conflict and controversy, and this was timely. Tie vote means no all-day kindergarten in Avon Grove, so this is proximity, dealing with what's going on in our backyard. This was also of consequence at the time, and very important to a lot of families as to whether or not their child would be going to school for a full day or not, or whether they would want to send them to Avon Grove or go somewhere else. And certainly this was of controversy and timeliness. And finally, FBI moves in to end Oregon standoff. This is timely because it was just happened. It was breaking news, and it was dealing with a great conflict. So there you have it. Your job today was to identify the elements of news judgment and the functions of a journalist by completing that Google form and that journal, all to have a clear understanding of what is news and why journalists